Okay, here we are with set 1, and it turned out that we started with this formula which plugged in these numbers. We're looking for mass of the sun, but we need velocity. So we had to go over here because we know the period is 2 pi r divided by velocity, and we knew the period and the radius, and we can calculate velocity from that. So when we did that, we hopped back over here where we needed velocity and plugged it in. And then we could get the mass of the sun. Next, we had this problem where you were asked to find Pluto's orbital period, which is t. So this formula had t in it. So it's 2 pi r divided by v. And once again, we need v. So we go to the other formula, this one, to find v, because we know g, the mass of the thing in the center, v squared. Solving that for v, we got 4.8 times 10 to the third. So we can hop back up here and put in that number. And when we calculate seconds, you can leave it in seconds just in case you were curious. It's the same as 240 years. Number 3, we were given this information and asked for the satellite speed. So we start with this, and we knew everything but velocity. So we didn't have to go anywhere else. And we just solved this equation for v. When we put everything on one side, take the square root, we will have v. And that answer is there. And number 4, we have given this information. We want the mass of Jupiter. So we start here, and we have g, mass of Jupiter, velocity squared equals times r, equals v squared times r. We have to go somewhere else to find v. No surprise. So where's that work? Here's the work to find v. We go period is distance, or 2 pi r divided by v. We know the period, it was given. We know 2, we know pi, we know the radius. We just have to find v. So we divide this by that, and it'll give us v. And we hop back over here where we needed v. So we put in everything but the mass of Jupiter. And all the calculations led to that. All right, those were the first set. And then we went to the second set. And I'm not sure when you'll need those, but they'll be up here. So we had to do 7.1. And on 7.1, we had this information given. And we were asked to find the altitude. And that's the difference between the two surface areas. So we started with that. We knew everything but r. And r we solved for, and that r means from the center of this planet to the surface of the satellite. So to get the altitude, we're going to have to subtract the radius of the Earth. So we took that value and subtracted the radius of the Earth to get the altitude. Number 2, or the second one, was page 250, number 7, and they want the period, how long for Saturn to orbit the sun. That's t. So the equation with t in it looks like this. So we have distance around is 2 pi r, so we calculated that, and we need v. To get the period, we need v. So we have to go somewhere else. Here's where we're going to find v, because we know everything but v. So we put in g, the mass of the thing in the center, radius, solve that for v, and we get that. That's what we plug back in over here. When we did that, we get that and that. All right, let's look at the third one. It's number 9 on that page, 250. Here we have a satellite with the velocity and the mass of the Earth is given. Find the orbital radius of the satellite. So we start with this, and we go, plugging in everything we need. We get R is the only thing we don't know, so that's good. And when we get there, we solve for R, and our calculators yielded that. Well, number 10, we had this information given. And notice I changed from kilometers to meters between the Earth and the satellite. And that's the radius of the Earth and the mass of the Earth. And we're asked to find the orbital period of the satellite, which is T. So we start with the T formula, and we get 2 pi r. The only difference is r was not, r is 2 pi r is the orbital radius, so we need to go from the center of the Earth to the surface of the satellite. So we have to add to the 2314000, we'll have to add the radius of the Earth. So we did that, and we need V again. So we're going to go over here to find V, because we know everything but V. So we put those numbers in, solve it for V, and we got that for V. Putting that back in for V, where did it go? Down here. And it turned out to be 8,068 seconds. In sig figs, we could use 3. And there's our answer. All right, so if you need to check your work against the answer key, it's up and ready to do that. Bye.